people that don't have ride in a group. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, hey! Welcome back to the Handlebar Garden Back Porch Edition. Come on in and have a seat.
Come on in. Been a while. Good to see you. How's it been going?
In this edition, we're talking about group rides. I guess kind of how to be prepared for one.
Right, yeah. Just a few people. Now, this is not like 50, 60, 200 people group ride. This is
3 to 5,
3
maybe.
to 5,
just
8.
A small group.
Yeah, this is a small group.
Maybe as many as 10.
Right. So we're gonna get that. We'll get that going right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. We're gonna do 10, and there's more. And some people may or may not agree to what we think is our most important.
And if there's something we've left out that you do on a group ride, leave us a comment and let us know.
Yeah. And we're always willing and to take suggestions and or advice from been riding a long time, and I'm still learning.
You should.
Right, exactly.
No matter how long you've been riding, you should learn something new.
But I know some stuff.
Just don't learn it the hard way.
Right, exactly. and I want to, don't mind to, share what I do know.
Yeah.
So
well, that's kind of what this channel is about.
Exactly.
What little bit of knowledge we have.
Yep. To
share.
Yep. No, so they may not make the same mistake that we did.
Yeah.
Although a lot of times we didn't listen, we made that mistake too. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. To me, you could go from 10 to 1, but we're just going to go from 1 to 10. But my thing is arrive prepared.
Yeah, there's a lot of people will show up with a quarter of a tank of gas.
Yes.
Planning on doing 200 or 300 miles.
Yep. So show up. Well, you might in good condition, in good running condition. You doing your.
Which for years we would have failed that one.
We would have failed. We always worked on them on the road.
Yeah.
Seemed like we was always working on somebody's, but make sure your tires are aired up, and you've already checked your oil and all that. You're ready. You got a full tank of gas, and a lot of times what we do is we meet at a gas station with that has a lot of parking. Thankfully, there's a place nearby that has a lot of parking, so we'll meet there a lot of times and pull in and fill up. Now, if we're going to meet somewhere else, and sometimes we do that's a little further out if we're going another direction, there's a gas station probably half a mile from where we meet, and I'll swing in there usually and fill up and be ready to roll a few hundred miles or whatever the smallest tank there is capable of.
Yeah, that's something else. However many bikes are going, smallest tank, or even if they've got a big tank and they've got their motor hopped up, it's going to use a lot more gas. Right. So, kind of know who's going to need gas first, and that helps you plan on when to stop.
Yep. And that runs us into number 2. That leads right into that. As a meeting or as a talking point, know that. You say you come in, and a lot of us guys that ride together, we already know what each other's doing. But I'm talking about if you're going in with a group of people that you may not have rode with or something or not as familiar with, you might want to let them know, that whoever the leader is, hey, dude, man, I can only go 100 miles and I've got to have fuel. I can go a max of 130. Let them know. So, and then there may be somebody there that has a less tank, but always let people know. Another good thing to discuss is, well, probably you've already discussed this, where you're going.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what we'll talk, I know with us, with Mike and me, we kind of, I don't know, I'll say play it by ear if it's just us two. But a lot of times
we have an ideal of where we're going,
Yep.
And we'll just kind of figure that out
Yep.
as we get ready to go. Group rides, you really don't want to do that Because if you got 5 people, you're going to have 3 or 4 people saying, hey, well, let's go this way. Well, no, why don't we go in this way? And then you got 2 hours standing in the parking lot trying to figure out which is the best route.
That's true. So
you have your route in concrete. Have it stone.
Yep. Now, like I said, with us, sometimes we change the mid-ride if that's just us. And a lot of times we'll talk, hey, our first stop's going to be such and such.
Yeah.
Generally, we do that. Even if it's just us two, we'll kind of go over that a little bit. We like to ride roads that we ain't rode in a while or never rode.
Yeah.
Which for us, from where we're at, is beautiful rides, but we have to tend to go on out, and we'll have to ride 2 or 3 hours out to get to these places that are less traveled or less known by us. So always have a meeting, know the route, discuss things, just like we said. Which we'll go to number 3. And this might even sound silly to some, and I'm just going. I just wrote kind of like some bullet points down, and we're ad-libbing the rest of it. Just to be honest, is your leader and your tail gunner. And some people call that other things, whatnot. I've always called tail gunner.
Yeah.
But to me, that's what he is. And to me, tail gunner plays as big a role as your leader. Your leader's kind of leading you on your way, but your tail gunner does a lot back there. And we'll not get into a lot of that, right? I don't think so on this video. Maybe that's for some other time. But your tail gunner is a very important piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, if you like to be the one riding in the back, you need to know the route too.
Yep.
You need to know when it's coming from 2 lane back to 1,
Yep.
so you can get over to stop cars.
Yep. Know the rules.
Yeah, there's a lot to that, and then being the leader, if you're coming through something with red lights, you need to.
Yep.
Is everybody gonna be able to make it through?
Yep.
Do I need to go ahead and stop as soon as it starts to change? Or
Yep. Yeah, there's a little window there of opportunity to gun it or back her down. So both of these riders, of course, I'm not going to follow a leader that's not experienced rider. To me, that's silly. I mean, I want whoever's leading to be able to lead.
yeah,
If you're riding 3 or 4 people together and you're in a group and you're fixing to pull out from a stop sign and whatnot, your leader shouldn't. Oh, I've got open space. You're not talking about taking care of yourself now. You've got whoever's with you. You're taking care of them too. I've got enough room to get out, and you pull out and leave the other one sitting. Everybody needs to roll at the same time and be prepared to roll.
and you get some people that when the leader sees an opening, he goes. They won't look. They'll just follow.
Right.
And then you end up
T-boned.
T-boned.
So your leader should and should not endanger the people behind him. So so that's about it on that. I mean, there's more to it than that, of course, but for the sake of this list, we'll go down to number 4, and that is your following distances. Very, very important. I've been on some rides before, and I understand there's different skill levels for people.
Yeah.
But people get opened up in a car and squeeze in there between you. That is so dangerous. Don't leave those gaps. A good rule, and of course we're riding in staggered formation, right? The guy in front of you, the bike in front of you, you're 2 seconds behind him. So in other words, you're 1 second behind him, and then so on and so forth. So if you're 2 seconds behind him, you're just scattered out just perfect. There's nobody that's going to be able, a car is not going to be able to squeeze in there. So you need to stay right in there. And that goes back to a lot of times your leader too. I know with myself, a lot of times when I'm leading, or whatnot, I'll set the cruise control. I love cruise control. Now I've been with some people. It's run 70 and then back down to run 60. You know, then 65, then back down to 50. I mean, it's, you know, so the people behind you when you're doing that, they're just. It's hard to stay with somebody that's varying their speed. I understand on curvy roads, whatnot, you've got to vary your speed. We're going to get to that here later too. So, but
and as far as I guess, as far as following goes, you need to look behind you at the first three headlights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you got 10 or 15 people riding and they're behind you, just focus on the first three headlights, and you're on the same for the next person.
Right.
And if they do that, then there's an overlap, and everybody's watching out for everybody.
Yep.
Because if you're leading or close to the front, and you're trying to count everybody's headlights, you run the risk of running off the road. Guy in front of you stops and you hit him.
Yep. That's true. So we'll go on to number 5, halfway. And this here comes with practice. Is riding skills. Know your riding skills. If you're a new rider, you probably best not. I mean, I'm talking about brand new rider. Group ride is probably not the thing you need to be.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be your. That should be a goal, but I don't think it should be. Well, I just bought this bike. I've been riding a week, and I'm going to ride with these 8 or 10 people or 50 people. You need to. You need to work your way through that.
You need 2 or 3 other riders that know you're a new rider.
Yes.
And you do a really small 3 or 4 bike. And the newer rider rides in the middle so everybody can keep an eye on them if they have any trouble.
So aim, and this is what I do too, what I do, aim to ride better and smoother than you would if you're by yourself. A lot of times, and I know I think we've all done it. I get, especially when I'm by myself, a lot of times I know Mike's seen me do it. If we're just riding down the road, I'll start.
Yeah.
You know, you're just kind of loosening things up.
That's the whole counter steering, push on the bars, see how your bike moves.
Yeah. And I do that, you know, but now if you're in a group, you can't do that. That's not a good time to be practicing dodging rocks in the road or imaginary things, you know, is what I'm trying to say. Don't panic by hitting your brakes.
So we saw that happen a few years ago.
Yep.
He was an older guy. He'd been riding for a long time, I guess.
Yep.
He hit his brakes and he didn't feel like they were stopping him, so he hit them hard. And the bike kind of jerked around and hit his buddy.
Yep.
Which nobody was seriously injured. I don't think. I think the ambulance maybe came and checked him out, but everybody was okay.
Yep. But yeah, everything you do here affects everybody back there.
Yeah.
And so, and then it goes from the leader back. I mean, it's like I was saying a while ago, the leader's sitting there going 61 minute and 55 the next, and back and forth. You're affecting everybody. So keep everything constant. Don't panic. So, you know, just be more on your game than what you normally would by yourself, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, now it's not just about you, it's about us. So, that'll bring us to number 6, if Mike's done with number 5.
Yeah.
Number 6. Around here, of course, most everybody knows we live in East Tennessee, foothills of Smokies. We ride in the Smokies a lot. Most every road around here is curvy, and that's what we enjoy.
Yeah.
That's why we avoid interstate as much as possible, because the interstate is flat. Well, not flat around here. It's boring.
Not a whole lot of curves.
No, the interstate is boring to me. It's just sit and ride, you know. So around the twisties and stuff. When you're riding in these, we're not doing staggered order anymore.
No.
We're doing single order, and if you need to be here, that's fine. If you need to be here, that's fine. So you're riding in single order versus like if you was on the interstate or a bigger highway where you'd be staggered and together. You're going to still leave the 2-second rule out there. And now a lot of this depends on your riding skills too.
Yeah.
Now, don't expect, if you're not as comfortable, that the people in front of you, it's not that they're meaning to run off and leave you, but you're riding
if you don't feel like you can keep up with them, don't try.
Don't try.
And if you know the person behind you is not as experienced as you, don't be looking in your mirrors to try to keep track of them.
No.
Because you'll end up going off the side of the road.
Yep.
It's basically, well, like around here, everybody knows about the tail of the dragon.
Yep.
All those curves. When you're on something like that, it's basically everybody for themselves.
Yep.
You ride it
yourself
at whatever level you're comfortable at,
yep.
whatever speed you feel safe at, and you don't look behind you.
Right.
You get through the curves, you get to the bottom, and then you kind of wait on the rest of your group to come in.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if you're on something like that if you don't get passed by somebody.
Yeah.
I don't care what skill level you've got, somebody is going to wanting to get through there just a little bit quicker. And you're new. That's not one of your. Although I've heard of somebody being a new rider on it. Yeah, but anyway. So how'd it go us to number 7? I think in our last countdown video, I held up fingers.
I think so.
I didn't this time. So I better not start it now.
No.
But anyway, that gets number 7. What is the main goal that we have?
Everybody show up. Everybody that left together arrives together.
Exactly. Show up safely. Everybody back at their home. I know Mike and us, a lot of times we split off when we're done for the evening. We get home, and then we shoot a text. We made it. I beat the rain, or I didn't beat the rain.
That's usually.
usually. But yeah, we leave together. We want to ride back together. Unless somebody for some reason needs to take off, and I can speak for myself, and matter of fact, I'll speak for Mike. I will not, and I will repeat, I will not, and I'm going to say he's going to agree with me, leave somebody and them down. Will not happen. I will not leave a brother, him sitting on the side of the road. Oh man, good luck. I'm going on.
Yeah, you got a cell phone, you call somebody back.
Yeah, wrong answer. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be calling you to come and help me or bail me out or whatnot. Yeah. So don't leave you. I mean, he may not even know them. You don't leave them behind. It's wrong. And he was talking about that. That happened a few years ago when that person went down.
Yeah,
we stayed there. We stayed there till everything was kind of said and done. And to me, it's out of common courtesy. Not to leave somebody. But the main thing is to arrive safely. Let's have a good time and do it safely. Let's get back home. And that'll bring us to number 8. When you're riding, and I know sometimes this can be, sometimes it's tough. Don't fixate on the bike in front of you.
Unless it's real foggy.
Unless it's foggy.
Then you look for the tail lights.
You look for the tail lights. Foggy and rain and dark. Yeah, yeah, we're not talking about foggy rain and dark here. We're not talking about
one of our rides.
But don't fixate on the person in front of you, because that you need to be looking beyond.
Yeah, and we discussed in our other video.
Yep. Beyond the horizon, beyond that leader. What's he seeing that you're not? So, in other words, just don't get fixated on one thing. And that goes back to number 7, because we want to get home safe. Yeah. We want everybody to be home safe, and preferably with all the bikes running. And I've been on rides, and used to be. Mike knows it too. We'd always have a chaser with us in case one of us broke down, or needed something. It's just always, and that's been years and years ago. things have come a long way for bikes, and
Yeah.
things have come a long way for us. We started, you know, I could never, way back when, afford a new Harley, although I was like, wow. And then now the prices are even more, double what they were when I was going, wow. But like I said, you mature, you learn, you trade up, I'd say, you know. Anyway, anywho, I mean, there's still people that have to work on their bikes, and I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. That'll bring us to number 9. Now, this one here, everybody's got different little signs. That's what it is. Know your signs.
Yeah.
Know your group and your leader. A lot of times will do different things.
One of the biggest, I guess, is when you see something in the road, you need to let everybody behind you be aware that there's something in the road.
Yes, you do.
Now, depending on where you're riding at, whether you point with your hand or you hold your foot out and point to it, or whatever it is you do to let people know that, hey, there's something in the road.
Yep.
And even if you're the last bike, go ahead and point to it anyway.
Yep.
So the ones in front of you know that you saw that.
Make it a habit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in such a habit of it that I point at stuff when I'm by myself. And I know there'll be cars behind me, no doubt, like, what in the world is he doing? And there's a certain store, and I'm not going to say the name of the store, but there's a certain store that is like on every corner of every road. I usually go, whoa. Well,
If
anyway.
there's not one there, just wait a while. One will
Pop up. They even got them on the moon. That ought to tell you what it is. But know your signs. I mean, a lot of times I may stick my foot, if something's on the left side of me, I point with my left hand. Of course, you got your throttle hand here, so sometimes it's not as easily to let go because your speed's going to vary. Now, if you
And depending on if you've got a smaller bike, you can actually reach over and point to it. But
and see it. A lot of times I'll hit my cruise real quick. I mean, it's right there because in the other video we done, know where everything's at. I don't have to look, and it's almost instant. Now, if I see something in the road, and I ain't saying always, but generally I've seen it a long way up there where you're supposed to be looking. I've got time if we're in twisties and not in twisties, whatnot. Set my cruise. I point at what I'm looking at, and I point at it till I'm gone. I'm not looking at it, but I'm pointing at it. And that's letting somebody else know, or stick a foot out. There's different signs, know your hand signals, slow down. Yep, your
right turn, left turn, stop, slow down.
Yep. I know one that I use regularly. Well, I don't like to use it regularly because if the roads were better, is if there's gravel and stuff, like in the roads and whatnot, I'll stick my hand out and do this. And that's something that we've just learned together. And I'll do swing my arm that there's something on this road. Meeting bikes, I don't know. You might know what that means. You may not. In other words, it's almost like, I'll put it this way, it's like flashing your lights, if you're in a car, because there might be a speed trap. That's just kind of courtesy, kind of thing. But myself, I stay, and we used to do this a lot. If I was leading, I would go up with my hand and over if we were going into a 3-lane, and I felt we need to be in the right lane. Well, since then, basically, what I do now, and most everybody, well, hopefully everybody knows that I do this. If not, we talk about it, is if I look back in my mirror and there's nobody behind us, no cars, then we're tracking straight. Unless they have a passing lane coming back down the mountain or whatnot. If they have a passing lane, we're going over to the right regardless. So unless you're going around somebody, of course.
Yeah.
And usually it's like this right here, we're going on. And sometimes I still use that today. We're going on. Point at your tank.
If you need gas.
If you need, yeah, and like I said again, if I'm back here and I can go 100 miles, and I've already told the leader, that leader should know, hey, he should be tracking this thing. He's taking care of me.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to worry, So that and on that, that'll bring us down to the last one, number 10. Well, I say last one
For this video.
Yep, number 10. And that would be to know your limits. And Mike touched on it a minute ago.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable, feel free to bail out. Now, I grant you, let somebody know what you're doing.
Hey man, y'all are just riding way too fast for me. I'm just gonna ease on the other way.
Yep, and that's fine. And just to be honest with you, that don't happen often.
No.
But we don't really ride that aggressive.
Well, a lot of times with a group, you're averaging about 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Unless it's a ride that you are going to hit the interstate.
Right.
And then it's 65 or 70 until you get to where you can get back off.
But and what I call not aggressive, might be aggressive to a younger, or especially unexperienced rider.
Coming in curves.
Yeah. And I have my favorite type of curve. I have my least favorite type of curve. My wife, I can't remember now where we was at, but she said, "Boy, you can get it now." I can't. And we was going over 90. And on the other side, and she, in her mind, she thought I liked going downhill better than I did up. And I'm like, well, I would rather go uphill. I have more control going uphill. I have more throttle response because I'm feeling the power versus when you're going downhill.
Riding the brake.
You're riding brake or gearing down, and I'm not having as much fun going downhill. But she thought, but she don't ride. She's a passenger. And I could see where she would come up with that. But I would rather go uphill because I like to dig on it, especially in turns. But know your limits. I know mine. I ain't saying I ain't went beyond them. Time or two, 10. But if somebody, and there's some people that ride with or have ridden with, and their skill level may not be it might be more or less than mine, but they're riding hard and very aggressive, dude, that don't mean I have to stay with them. Yeah. I'm not going to.
Yeah, don't let pride get in the way and cause a wreck.
No. My thing, and like I said, probably 90% of the time or more, I've got a passenger with me, and I'm looking out for her best interest. And I was charged to do that, and that's what I will do: defend and take care of, And not once has she told me, "Oh, you're just doing too much. You're blah 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 blah," and I'm not trying to scare her intentionally. Have I been spooked? Sure have, a few times. And she didn't think nothing of it. She didn't know that. Holy smoke! That was a little bit hairy.
Yeah.
She just goes with it. She's got enough confidence in me to take care of her. So that's a few, and there's more for bigger groups.
Well, and then there's being not riding a group or just being a new rider in general, having a passenger. I mean, that'd be a whole other.
It's a whole different one. Yep. So that's a small group. I've got other bullet points and this and that for riding in a large group. Yeah. And I always love to do this, is run traffic. And what I mean by run traffic is blocking traffic and how to do it safely and without causing too much confrontation. Used to anyway.
And usually that's some type of benefit ride where you have several bikes.
Yeah.
And you know the route, and you have certain ones go up ahead to intersections or whatever, and block the traffic so everybody can roll through.
Yep, there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. And I've been honored, and I call it an honor, to help some people run traffic in days past and hopefully in days future. And because I do, I take a lot of, I'm not a prideful person, but I take a lot of pride. I take a lot of pride in that, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy helping out any way possible. You know, if it's just to stop and make somebody mad in the middle of the road. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for watching.
Be
sure to go over to Facebook.
Oh yeah.
We have a Facebook group.
Yep.
Go ahead and join that, and
post
if you got any rides.
Yeah, post. We want to know. Post it. And be sure. And I remembered it. Be sure hit that notification bell so you'll know when we've released some new content. And of course, like, subscribe, share.
Yeah.
Share. Push it out there. And we appreciate you watching. Y'all take care. Take care of one another. And until next time, torque it to spec.